Hey, GutFoxx here. Today we're going to go through my proposed ratings for safeties in Madden Ultimate Team 16. The sponsor today is nostalgia. The Greek word for return is nastos, and algos means suffering. So nostalgia is the suffering caused by the unappeased yearning to return. That sounds a lot like my love of Madden 05. So, as you see on your screen, we have the Madden 15 ratings of the safeties, both strong and free. Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas took the first, second, along with Bird there, Palomalo. So we had two of the top four. One retired. Bird had an injured year. So those are going to change over. Eric Berry is unfortunately stricken with cancer, and we don't know when he'll return. I know Mario Lemieux and Anthony Rizzo both had those cancers and returned. Mario a couple months later after treatment, and Rizzo is playing in his All-Star game this year. So we'll see. Hope for the best with Eric Berry. Let's move on to what we saw at E3 for safety ratings. Here's free safeties. You had Steve Atwater, 91 overall, was a legend, revealed. And this is all in the Draft Champions mode that we saw at E3. So I don't know if these are going to be accurate or not, but they seem pretty good. Let's move on to strong safeties. Cam Chancellor is rated 90, which is one better than last year. And I do not know why EA would up his rating from last year, because he did not have an amazing year. I reluctantly kept him as my top strong safety. Ooh, sorry, spoilers. But anyways, then they got Rashad Jones on down. They got Eric Berry at 80, I see, which I do hope he comes back as strong as ever. Let's move on to the legends right away. They did reveal that Steve Atwater, so we could basically count him on being in it. Ronnie Lott, Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, Rod Woodson. These are all guys that were in last year, and I really hope they're in again next year. Paul Krause, Brian Dawkins, Sean Taylor, Ken Houston. I really hope we're all in Madden 16 as legends. Ken Houston and Paul Krause are both 6'3", along with Steve Atwater. And it's great to have those tall safeties back there to help with the jump balls, and those are two of the best of all time. So, enough with the chit-chat. Let's move on to the whole meat. What I think they'll be in 16 for the current players. Earl Thomas, Eric Weddle, and Cam Chancellor should have the highest rating. And now I know in E3 they gave Cam Chancellor a 90, but that's not my method. My method is to take last year's ratings for safeties at the beginning of MUT and the base set, and then bring them over. So yeah, Earl Thomas will keep his top rating. Eric Weddle, he's the best safety in the league according to Pro Football Focus. So I'm going to bump him up one overall from last year. Cam Chancellor, he'll be our strong safety. And I try to get strong safeties and free safeties to basically around the same overalls except for like 86, So there's a strong at each overall and there's a free at each overall. So he basically, will be an amazing in the box safety again. Didn't have great play rec last year, but should be amazing against the run with the high hit power, that Chancellor. Harrison Smith had a phenomenal year last year and is next in the rankings at 88 overall. He's one of the best safeties in the league right now. He plays the run fantastically. That Minnesota secondary is looking pretty decent going forward here, with Waynes and stuff. Anton Bethea's next at 88, an amazing cover, strong safety. Opposite, basically, of Cam Chancellor. Opponents' quarterbacks had a 50.2 QB rating against him last year. So that's where his strength will lie in MUT 16. Devin McCourty, free safety, 87. I'm giving him the same rating as last year. And I really won't be mad if they gave him similar stats. This guy deep in that blue zone coverage in MUT 15 was amazing early because he made those picks where he ran in front of wide receivers and cut off the route. And I loved him as a coverage safety, even though he's a little shorter. George Aloka's next. He's 6'4". He's a strong safety. That's just awesome to have a safety that tall. He was thrown against 31 times last year. The opponents only completed 12 of those passes. That's an insanely low 38% 37.7% completion percentage. Did I say that twice? Oh, man. I'm not very efficient with words. 37% completion percentage. Nice. That basically makes it a quarterback rating of 18.4, which is very low if you know what a normal quarterback rating is. I mean, it's like 90 is a normal quarterback rating in the NFL average. Next, 86, Rashad Jones is starting to ramble. Strong safety. He had a couple sacks last year, 7 pressures. Pretty good on a blitz. Maybe a high finesse move for him. Glover Quinn, free safety. Detroit has a good safety here, in Glover. We'll see if he gets to play. If he plays any worse with Sue and Fairley's pass rush gone next year, that does make life easy on the secondary. Tashawn Gibson and Dante Whitner are next. 2 Cleveland safeties at 85 overall. The poor town Seattle. That's what I've always called Cleveland. Gibson's a little better against the pass and Whitner against the run like you'd expect of their positions. Cleveland is not missing TJ Ward one bit, who went on to Denver the year before this. Mike C. Adams is next. He had a phenomenal year. Should be high in the play rec and awareness scale. And probably zone coverage because, he's old, and that's what we give old people because they lose their speed. But, yeah, Pro Football Focus had him rating as the best coverage safety last year. Patrick Chung, strong safety. He'll be great in the box against the run. Jarius Byrd suffered a torn lateral meniscus in his knee after 4 games last year. That's tough. I had to drop him about 5 points, which is, I don't know, kind of mean for an injury. But look at that. I can look at myself in the mirror in the morning after doing something like that. Can you? James Ndegbo. He ended up as a position hero for MUT 15, but come on. I don't see him that high to start the year overall. Morgan Burnett is amazing against the run. Strong safety. Pro Football Focus has him as the best safety against it last year. He is lacking in coverage, though. Great for a team that runs a safety down in the box as a linebacker, maybe in the 46 or 44. TJ Ward is at 83 next. He did have a down year moving to a new system in Denver, like I said, from Cleveland. He still made it to the Pro Bowl, I think a lot based on the name and Denver's fans. I did dock him a few points from his overall for the down year. Reggie Nelson. Oh, going back to that, do you think that's unfair? I mean, he did go to the Pro Bowl, but he wasn't really rated very well last year in his performance. Reggie Nelson, free safety, will be good in coverage, a solid overall. Charles Woodson, I give him an 83, which is a little bit higher than what Madden gave him next year in their draft champions at 81. But I would have probably rated him at 81 too, but I gave him an 83 just, for legacy reasons, like a rich kid at Harvard. Yeah, his season didn't really deserve this ranking last year, but I do love seeing him in the game. I'm glad he's not retired. His cards always perform really well because of that high play rec and awareness. Tyvon Branch, I got at 83 next. He was injured all of last season, but I did love his 95 speed to start the year at strong safety if you need a user there. But I did drop him a couple points. All right, moving on. These are the next guys, that kind of missed. Here's a snapshot of them all. Everyone from Eric Berry, as I mentioned earlier, Denoris Cersei, on down to HaHa, and Malcolm Jenkins. But let me know what you guys think of these ratings. I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.